Now, level 6, future career goals. So we're starting to get broader in the personal statement, skeleton, and so we're getting more big picture. Think 10 years. In 10 years, where do you see yourself? Include goals of being in academia or goals in the industry, doing research and development. Which field of study you'd like to research if you're in academia, and the type of institution you see yourself, R1 or primarily undergraduate institution or even community colleges, because these have different impacts to society and they're all important. So just get very big picture, and don't be afraid to be creative, show some personality here, and be big in your plans. Professors love to see that drive in students, and that want to have big impact on their community, society, and students as well. So level 7. Now we're getting into the last paragraph, and we're getting into your intention at that institution, and this is institution specific. So at this point, you're editing your personal statement per institution that you apply to. From my experience, I recommend applying to 5 to 6 institutions. I applied to 8, but that's just because I'm that type of person. But I recommend applying to 5 or 6, and you'll definitely get into one, at least one. So in this level, you're going to be speaking about distinct reasons of why you want to work with a specific professor, and you need to refer to specific aspects of their research. So I recommend at least reading 2 to 3 abstracts of research works that they've done by looking on their personal websites. This is for PhD students. Looking on their personal websites and seeing their, publication history, and at least reading the abstracts. But when I was applying, I read at least one paper that they wrote, just to see what kind of research they did and if I found it interesting. And that really helps you mention jargon and just look like you did your homework and that you know what you're getting yourself into. So I recommend doing that. I also recommend doing this if you're a master's student, if you want to, because sometimes departments have a little bit of funding for master's students as well. And I think if you did your own work, you're putting a little more effort, you might have more chances of getting funding. So just do that little extra effort. Also include the names, if you're a PhD student, include the names of 1 to 3 professors. I recommend 2 that align with your research goals, story hook, and career goals, especially like big picture 10 years from now. What you'd learn, what skills you'd learn working under them, those professors. The reason why you should mention more than one professor is because in STEM education, we're usually funded for our tuition, and we get a stipend, so like a working wage for working under a professor, and that's what gets professors' research done. We are the workers in the lab to get their research done, so we get paid. And when you include more than one professor, you increase the chances that that professor might have funding for a PhD student to pursue research under them. But don't go above 4, because professors have different types of research, and it's more likely that they have diverging research, and what it will look like in your personal statement is that you don't know what you want to do, or you don't know what you're doing, because the professors might have widely different research interests, and so they don't see the common thread. And if they don't see the common thread, it just looks more like you're ignorant, and you want to look like you have an educated position on this. And also include a statement of mutual benefits. The reason why we have that skill development synthesis section is because we want to show professors that you have the skills to pursue research under them. So show that there's mutual benefit by you working under these professors, by you learning the skills and being able to develop yourself under them, but also having the skills from your previous background, or your current research that prepared you to do research under them, and shows that it will not be this huge this steep learning curve when you get into graduate school to work under them, when they accept you as a student. And lastly, do not ever grovel. Do not say anything about it will be an honor and I'll be so humbled if you accept me. These statements make you look like you are not qualified. So just skip those groveling sentences, end it with this mutual benefit statement, and that's it. So once you've done all of these things, you have your personal statement. Now I'm going to get into some last tips. So for you students that are still in undergrad, check to see if you have resources to help you edit your personal statements. Usually universities have a professional development center where you can get your resume proofread and formatted, or a personal statement or cover letter edited, as well as practice with interviews. Sometimes they also read personal statements for students applying to graduate school. So look to see if that is available to you, and that would be the easiest way to get your personal statement professionally edited and to be in the tip-top shape. Also, I recommend creating a list of academic advisors, friends, and other trusted individuals to help provide you with edits. The personal statement will go through multiple edits. It's not going to be perfect the first time you write it. So I've gone through personal statements that had up to 9 revisions. So don't worry about it, and just make sure that you're sticking with that group of individuals. Don't get too crazy. And I usually stop the revision cycle when I notice that people's edits start to become more subjective rather than based on grammar or making things come out more clearly. So you have to feel what's right within, but that's just a little tip from me. Also, I recommend reading Elements of Style by William Strunk Jr. That's a really good book to read. I have it here. I have the book here. I'm currently reading it. It's very thin. It's just grammar and sentence structure, what makes good writing and easily comprehensible writing. So yeah, that's one resource available to you. A great writer's rule is that any reader should be able to read the first and last sentence of a paragraph in your personal statement and get the gist of what you're saying, or the essence of what you're saying in that paragraph. Professors are more likely to just skim or scan your personal statement because they receive hundreds of them. So you really want to have the information in your paragraph, in your personal statement, easily identified. And one way to make sure that they comprehend everything, even if they scan or skim your personal statement, is to make sure that the first and last sentences tell you the gist of what that paragraph is saying. This is not only useful for when people are likely to skim or scan. This is just good writing technique on a whole, because it ensures that people understand your point of view in the paragraph. And lastly, show not tell. I'm sure you've heard this so many times. I might include a little bar of an example of a paragraph from my one of my personal statements over the years, and it just demonstrates showing and not telling. This makes writing more interesting, and yeah. So thank you for watching this episode on personal statements. I hope you like and subscribe, and stay tuned for next week.